So which quotation below from Valia most effectively illustrates the claim? Okay, so we've got a command of evidence illustrates with a quote. Valia is a 1907 short story by Leonid Andreev. In the story, the author emphasizes that the setting where the character Valia is reading is nearly silent. So which of these shows the setting silent? The hand in which he carried his book was getting stiff with cold, but he could not ask his mother to take the book from him. That says nothing about silence. Valia was reading a huge, very huge book, almost half as large as himself. It says nothing about silence or noise. Valia approached the window and examined the toys. Nothing about silence. This has the word quiet in it, so I guess this is going to be right. Everything in the room was quiet, so quiet that the only thing had to be heard was the rustling of the pages as he turned. There's your answer, D. Okay, we're looking at a quantitative command of evidence because we have a table and we have to complete the text. So let's read. We're going to find the data that completes the idea that should go in the blank. Huge international exhibitions known as the World's Fairs have been held since 1851, but the United States hasn't hosted one since 1984. Architecture expert Mina Chow argues that this is because some people think the events are too expensive and not popular enough. For example, so we have an example of being too expensive and not popular. The 84 World's Fair cost $350 million and had only, we need evidence that shows a low number of attendees is my guess. Okay, let's take a look. World's Fairs held in the U.S., attendance and cost of hosting the past World Fairs. So these were in the U.S., 62, 68, 84, 74. The cost, we can see this doesn't really look like it's exactly in order, but the cost went up over time. 74 wasn't as costly, so that kind of stood out. But the World's Fair, was costly. The number of visitors, actually, again, 74 stood out, but the number of visitors did not really go up very much. In fact, from 1962, it went down to 84, even though the cost went up sevenfold in a matter of less than 20 years. So I think that's really probably the data point that's going to stand out to support our case that the World's Fairs really aren't effective. Which choice most effectively uses data to complete the statement? So 350 million and only 7.35 million visitors. That's right. So there really isn't a comparison here, actually. I mean, they don't ask for it, but so it wouldn't be any of these. These are all not accurate. This is the only one that's accurate, so that's going to be the answer. Okay, we're looking at a quantitative command of evidence with the graph. And we're going to have to complete the claim, it looks like. So we want to find data from the graph that kind of completes the logical statement leading up to that. A student is presenting average monthly rainfall totals in various Puerto Rican cities for a science class. During the presentation, the student notes that in September, so what do we have here? We've got different Puerto Rican cities. And over time, and he particularly notes something in September, okay? So the average monthly rainfall as shown in inches. So what happens? In July, they all go down. So we're at a June-July period, okay? And then from there, they tend to go up. There's kind of a couple exceptions here. Here, these go down, while the others are going up. So what does the student note? Let's see. We're pretty much looking for accuracy because we don't have a claim, we just have a student notes. Ricón's average rainfall is greater than that of Isabella, Sebastian, and Ponce. So Rincón, triangles, is greater than Isabella, squares, and Ponce. Well, Ricón is definitely greater than Ponce. It's not exactly clear that it's greater than Isabella because Isabella at a couple points is higher, maybe overall. So maybe this is true. Not clear though. Rincón and Ponce have an average rainfall of about 5 inches, and Isabella and Sebastian have an average rainfall of about 10 inches. Okay, so actually, let's take this back. As I looked at that, I forgot that we were looking for September only. So Raccoon's average rainfall is greater than that of the other two in September. No, that is definitely not true. Raccoon and Isabella and Ponce, they're all at the same point in September. So that is definitely not accurate to the text or the table or the graph. It's the graph. Raccoon and Ponce have an average rainfall of about 5 inches in September. Raccoon and Ponce, they're actually about 6. So I don't think that's quite right. And then the other one, which is San Sebastian, the high one, is about 12. So these are not exactly accurate, right? About, kind of close, but not. I don't think about is good enough to sort of give us that much leeway. C, Rincon, Ponce, and Isabella each have an average rainfall below 8 inches. Yes, that's correct. They're both 6 in September. But Sebastian has an average rainfall that is greater than 8 inches. That's true. It's 12. This is going to be our answer. Rincon has a similar average rainfall to Isabella, it does, has a similar average rainfall. It's not that. This part's not true, right? These might be true, but these other parts are not accurate. The last part is not accurate. So that's not the right answer, okay? C is the only answer choice that's accurate to the graph. Okay, we have a table here. So this is going to be quantitative command of evidence, and we need to complete the statement again based on the data in the table. Like Earth, some dwarf planets in the solar system have exactly one moon. 2 examples of such dwarf planets are. So really we need accuracy. 2 examples of dwarf planets that have one moon. So what do we have? We've got different dwarf planets. Number of moons, we need the ones with one moon like Earth. That's MK2 and dysnomia. So R, 2 examples of such dwarf planets are Eris, correct, and Makemake. Those are the dwarf planets. That's it. Those are the one with one moon each. A is your answer.